La, 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 la.
Unique New York. Brap, brap. Blacka, 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 blacka. Hey,
Hey,
blacka,
oh,
blacka,
hey,
blacka, 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 blacka.
hey.
You. Great Odin's Raven. Rashid will not be in the All-Star game. Rashid.
Wait, who's Rashid?
I don't know.
1, 2, 3.
3 licks. 3 licks to the
We're
center.
recording?
I think we are.
I was just going through my red leather, yellow leather,
Oh yeah,
Unique New
our
York.
levels.
The Human
Me,
Torch
me.
was denied a bank loan.
Forever classic. Thank you. Thank you, Will
Welcome
Ferrell.
one, welcome all to episode 12 of the None of Our
Hey.
Business
Business
podcast. We are your hosts, Philly,
Was that
Philly
I was
Fanatic,
choking
On
on a
cock?
dick.
Philip, Fantasy Sane, Silent Tempo,
Keenan's special effect is chokes on
Keenan,
C note. C
C note,
notice.
C Money,
C4.
C-section.
Jesus.
And
how
I'm
many
Joe.
bad C's can we get?
He said C-section.
That sucks. My C goes with a whole bunch of nasty stuff.
See you later.
Hey.
I like to see these nuts. I said that last time.
These
Cianan.
nuts.
Cianan.
Ooh,
What's
yeah.
Gucci?
Um,
What's cracking?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, we're
It's good
back.
to see you guys.
Joe's back.
I am back. Oh,
He's
you
been
guys don't
back.
know this, but I was gone again for the weekend. I had to go back to the Bay.
Joe's big bossin'.
Stop.
He uses big boss voice. What does your big boss voice sound like, Joe?
I don't have one. But I came back, woke up hella early just to be back here because I didn't want to miss another episode.
Oh, how tweet.
Yeah.
Joe loves us. And he
Right.
loves you all, by the way.
I'm going to probably rack up some lines just to wake up again.
Oh, shit. You're going to miss that. The NOOB is a friend of the other drug community.
Of the drug community. We're touching today. We're touching Mortal Kombat in honor of Mortal Kombat 11 coming out in a couple of months.
Is that why? Okay.
Philly decided to go ahead and cop Mortal Kombat 10.
So that was your reason, Philly.
Mortal
Okay.
Kombat 10 renamed Mortal Kombat XL.
Extra large.
L indicating
Extra
that it
long.
has all the long shit on it. All the DLC.
You just fight with dicks. That's all you do.
Oh, hold on, let me
Yes,
exit training
dicks.
mode. I was just gonna go.
Oh,
train.
no, go train. Go
No, no,
train.
no, no, no,
Joe,
no.
Joe and I will take
He
over the
needs-
podcast. We
needs
officially
to train.
X Philly out.
There's a. Oh, he's like, no, go and train. I'll just fucking X you out of the podcast.
Hey, the dope thing about this game is that it has like an adventure mode where you could go into like the tombs. I don't know
Which
if you
they
ever-
did in Annihilation, right?
Yeah, they did that in
That's when they first started.
Too. Yeah, but it's
Can
kind
it?
of cool.
You can press
Um,
X.
They have a cool.
Are you going to allow me to press X, Philly?
I give you
Do you
permission.
have a,
You have been granted permission.
touch these balls?
I release you.
I release you.
Is that what you say when you bust your nut? You're like,
That's good. That's good.
That is.
I
But-
challenge any dude to say that.
No, we all know when I bust in there, I'm like, yo, what was up with that last episode? How many times did I nut?
Damn. I mean, you entered a new spectrum of
That's what happens when you put that tennis ball. Thank you, Fernando.
Oh, wow. You
Hold
know,
your nut.
I will admit I have not tried it yet. I don't own any tennis balls, but something
gotta say
about
that.
the idea sounds
I'm looking at Keenan and it
Keenan's
looks like he's tried
"Yeah."
it. He was like, "Yo, I went to Big Five immediately after the show.
Somehow they were all sold out.
Bought myself a 5-pack."
Have you seen that
Dunlop.
South Park episode where Stan's dad fucking like jerks off all over? And
Oh,
he's got
yeah,
all
when
the
they lose
cum-
the internet. And he like looks at the weirdest shit.
Hey, man.
Does that have you? Is that where you're at right now? Oh, is
No.
that where you're going?
You know. I was reading. I forget what I was reading, but it
You
said
can
that
read, ladies and gentlemen.
Pornhub
Is
or
it-
X videos
the number one?
released statistics that said that during the government shutdown, Washington D.C. spiked in porn, like in porn in site
Watching?
visits.
Oh wow.
Yeah, in site visits
Because they're not at
during
work.
the shutdown. their site like spiked. Yeah.
So at home just jacking
I
it.
was like, huh? That makes sense.
Now that we don't have any, bureaucracy to manage, we decided to manage this porn.
I'm just gonna rub this one out.
They're probably dealing with the anxiety through porn.
That's true, man.
Probably.
I don't know about you, but if I get a little too anxious, I'm just like, oh fuck, I need to rub one out.
I need to rub one out. You know, it's I mean,
like Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm glad. Yeah.
He's like, how many times do you masturbate a day? He's like, 3.
Is that what he said? He said
he's like, you need to get those numbers up with the level of stress that we're dealing with.
Who do you know who was that? Matthew McConaughey's character?
Matthew McConaughey.
Okay, yeah.
That was. I mean, I'm glad that this whole shutdown shit is
over.
Done. But
so,
I mean,
for now we have like 15 days.
Yeah, it's 15 days.
Oh, it was paused.
Yeah, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I can't remember.
Tremendous results. We got tremendous results.
Only because if the larger public started saying, we don't want this, we don't like you, because he wants to be liked.
Yeah.
So once you notice the general populace,
it's an uphill battle.
What?
I said it's an uphill battle.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just saying. But yeah, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad that people, but I was reading shit, I forgot what it was. Politico.
Is that a website blog?
Yeah, it's a website blog. That for now, the TSA agents are only going to get paid for like one pay period.
Right, they're not doing the
1
week.
Full thing. Yeah, they're not going to get their full payment up to now. So they're only getting like for the end of the year to like the 5th or the 6th of January. Yeah, and they're saying, yeah, we know this isn't full payment, and but we're trying to scrounge the money, the funds to pay everybody. And I'm like, all right, but you just did a partial reopening of the government or whatever. I don't know. It's stupid. It's irritating.
I just don't seem to understand why like the shutdown led to nothing, and I don't understand why the shutdown led to nothing, and everybody's okay with that, like in government.
Yeah, for it just to be like just restarting just to get some people paid, and then we're gonna go back to it. It's ridiculous. I'm hoping that it doesn't come to that and they come to an agreement within these next 2 weeks.
Is that a surprise though, knowing the United States history, that they're going to be gracious to its citizens? I mean,
but we have to remember that this is the longest shutdown that we've had
ever.
So it's never, that I can remember, it's never really come to where we're at now, where people missed multiple pay periods. We're used to having like a 1 or 2 week shutdown. I mean, I can't.
Well, why do we have to have a shutdown at all? Can't we not have a shutdown?
We shouldn't. I think that's what some lawmakers are trying to. They're trying to abolish the whole shutdown thing, like, for political gain, because that's basically what this is. If you don't give us what we want, we're gonna shut down the government.
Yeah.
It's basically them being like fucking selfish and throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, basically you're sequestering the American people.
And for what gain?
For things like the fucking border wall, which, I mean, $5.7 billion, if you look at it in kind of terms that we're thinking of today, really isn't a lot of money, but I don't know.
We should probably go back to Dragon Ball Z. I'm pressing like random shit and not throwing any.
That's why I wanted to train. I'm not gonna lie though, it's been a long time since I played Mortal Kombat.
Know how to do a fucking fatality.
The controls are a lot more rigid though.
They are.
Like with Mortal Kombat, you kind of have to know moves,
combos,
you have to know combo chains.
Yes.
Is there not a Tekken for PS4? I know it's kind of off subject.
Yeah, it's 7.
Yeah,
Tekken 7.
Yeah, there's definitely a Tekken for PS4.
But who's BKG?
Back to that's
you know
what does BKG stand for?
Ooh,
Keenan's video game username.
So there's 2 titles for it.
Big King Gooch.
When I first created, I love video games. I wanted to have my own video game company. And as a kid, when I was playing Doom and I saw the funny titles it had for its level of difficulty, I thought it'd be great to have a video game company called Butt Kicking Graphics. And that was the style of it.
Emphasis on butt, right?
I guess so. I don't know. But I created a little animation of my title at uni in the animation class of my first animation. You can see it come through.
Wow.
And the idea was that...
Do you still have that file?
Yeah.
Is it on a floppy disk?
Or I thankfully put it to my computer, so it's somewhere on my computer. or on a CD.
Do you remember floppy disk?
Of course I remember floppy.
Oh yeah,
Like the big square ones.
Yeah, with
not
the
even,
little hole in
Yeah,
the thing.
yeah. Not even the little
legit
square
floppy.
ones. Yeah.
They were like super floppy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But the one that I like now for it is Black Knights of God. That's the new title.
Actually, that'd be a dope movie.
Black Knights of God.
Yeah.
Well, I
I'd see
don't know.
something like that.
Why they got to be black?
Why not?
Because I'm black.
Yeah.
He said
That's
that's
right.
exactly why. It's called personification.
Yeah. I'm a mixed anyway, but leaning towards the more
Because you're part
brown.
Irish, right? Because your name.
Or something. I have no idea. Whatever my slave masters were back in the day.
That's what I'm part of.
Oh, that's right. I haven't done the 23 and me yet. I
You
need
know
to
what's
do
fucked
that.
up is that's kind of true.
pretty much. Yeah.
We're
yeah.
laughing about it, but goddamn,
Yeah.
it's true.
God, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's
That's why.
true.
That's why when I hear anything about our United States government, my family and I come from a different perspective. When they do
Of
some
course.
nasty shit, it's like, well, duh. Like they haven't changed.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah.
no change.
What
When
they did
people
to
were
the
like-
Native
when
Americans.
people were like-
you know?
Since when was it ever okay to make people work for free?
Right?
Oh, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
No, Middle
You see
America.
that?
Now it's a tragedy. Now it's so sad to see an upper class city.
You
So
see
it's-
that Nick Young meme where he's like,
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
So it's a little different. So when I hear all these stories about how messed up they are, it's like pretty much any minority, especially Native Americans, should like not even be surprised or shocked or anything about the nasty atrocities and stuff that our United States government does to its own citizens or its sphere of influence, or when we try to take over something, do some tricky little thing behind back doors. It's like, and that's the sad part, is that a lot of people think they know the history of the United States, but they don't. They only know the cliff notes or the title pages that they somehow try to remember from high school and junior high or whatever. But you have to really see those historical
You start
documentaries
Hey,
and stuff
who-
about.
sorry. Who is this AJE person?
The person that sent you a message?
Oh, you don't know who that is?
I was gonna say,
don't know who
isn't that the dude when we were playing Diablo together?
Nah, that's not
No.
it. No,
Okay.
no. I don't know who that is because it says it's somebody who I know, but I don't.
Definitely not.
They play games.
Nobody knows that there is a PS4 in my possession, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Oh, now they know.
Cool.
Well, like,
there you go.
Wait,
Phil.
wait a second. You-
And they don't know
Wait,
that your handle is Philip Lanos or anything.
They don't know your social security number is.
Well, I don't
yeah,
know
this
that
is a
one.
little awkward. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Or we
What's-
can go. Oh wait, I was gonna say we can go back to doing the Raymond stuff too. That was fun.
Yeah, you guys.
I was kind of getting mad though, like
At Raymond.
Oh, at Raymond?
because he beat me at the soccer game, and I'm kind of a sore loser.
Philip is a sore loser when it comes to fighting games. He'll be biting his lip like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna train, and I'm gonna come back stronger than ever.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah.
Once I learn the rules of the game,
Yeah.
it's like the Matrix. Then I know how to bend them.
Okay.
It is not the spoon that bends.
Well,
It is you. Do you not get the Matrix reference?
no, I do.
He was
Is that
like,
the
I
spoon?
just don't know how to follow that up. It's like the Martin Luther King speech skit with Key and Peele. That
Yeah.
was literally the best
The
speech
best
I ever
speech
heard.
I've ever heard.
No, really. Like, I've never heard a better speech.
Everybody on this side say, "Hey."
That's a good. That would be a good save. That would- All right, y'all, let's party, people.
Say, "Hey, Martin Luther King. Hey, Martin Luther King. Hey." Everybody's everybody's like, "No."
Get off the stage.
I know.
But that's what they were doing. They were booing him in that skit. That's such
Yeah.
a great skit.
Yeah.
How's your week? How has your week come along, guys?
Oh man,
I've had. I don't know if I had
these
a pretty good
episodes
week.
where we don't have guests, it definitely gets a little more intimate on like the us.
Yeah, it really does.
Wasn't it supposed to?
No,
Right.
that's-
Yeah.
Well, the last few times we've had a good.
I think it gets
camaraderie.
better. I think when we have guests, we kind of open up to the guests and let
let them
We
shine.
give the
As
guests
best
some
as
shine,
possible,
some
which
great-
I have to publicly apologize on this show for you guys. I
What?
remember the last time. This is the first and only apologize you'll hear from me. The last podcast when we had our good old boy Fernando. You guys were giving a lot of good stories, but I think I might have interrupted you or changed from you real quickly to have him talk, almost like I'm saying, "Fuck whatever you guys are saying. Let's hear what the guest is saying."
No.
No?
This is none of our business podcast,
Oh, okay.
baby.
Okay.
I can see what you're saying, and if you want to apologize, apology accepted, but it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, you stupid ass.
Apologize to these nuts.
You can apologize to these nuts.
But I think when it's us, we do get a little deeper. We already have a chemistry, so
How
I
deep
mean,
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do. Yeah,
Deep
where's
as
my
fuck.
foot? Where's your foot?
it's right here, baby. Don't even
Playing
trip.
footsies.
Hey.
Keenan with his new kicks. Keenan's
Yes.
got a haircut. He's got
I
some
got a hair-
kicks.
I've been.
Look at him,
I'm
cute
being
motherfucker.
bromance.
Keenan, you do look a lot more
Yo,
handsome in that
I
haircut.
saw
Thanks for
him-
not recording this on the.
I saw
video
him- I
cameras.
saw- We are recording, right? Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
we
we
are.
are. Are we?
Yeah, no, we just don't have video.
Video,
of
yeah.
this.
No, I'm just saying. So you were saying,
I
Joe?
saw you crossing the street. I was like, look at this motherfucker holding his iPad like his level of importance. Like crossing the street, all high.
The
and
iPad
mighty.
is the new clipboard.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed to be everything and all.
Man,
begin battle,
I've
right?
had a weekend, guys. It's
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
is this why
crazy
you're asking
weekend.
us to see if our weekend is as good as yours?
No,
or
no,
worse?
no, not even at all.
Tell us
'Cause
about
you
your
sound
weekend,
different.
Joe.
I know something
Something
happened
heavy.
to you.
No,
and you're-
honestly, I think I'm more tired, more exhausted than anything
okay.
because I've worked like continuously for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like just, yeah, it's been crazy. It's been
Getting
crazy.
up at early as fuck.
You're not even
coming
going to
home
pick up the
late.
sticks to play.
I know. I'm like,
That is true. He just turned me down 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wait a minute. Okay. House meeting, y'all.
house meeting, y'all.
Intervention,
No, I don't know.
intervention.
I legit think I'm just like tired. I'm a little tired. I'm gonna need a couple
Oh.
days to just like.
We've seen the peak
You know?
of Joe. Damn.
Nah, you haven't seen my peak. It's
But we haven't seen the Pikachu.
Hey.
Hey.
Speaking of, hey, I watched Vice.
Which one?
No, not the network or
Oh. Not the series.
movie. No, the movie,
movie
Vice. Based on Dick Cheney.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. What'd you think?
Man, that's a great.
I really want to
movie.
see it. Damn
That
it.
is a great. Especially for I guess for our generation who would remember
that whole scenario.
the Bush presidency.
Yeah.
And just if you want to just get some insight, I know it's like very, very loose, very incredibly loose biography, if it even is one. But
Yeah.
God damn, it's so good. It's so insightful because forever, like a lot of people, I mean, to this day, I still don't know a lot about Dick Cheney,
Yeah.
and I can't take what the story is.
As hard fact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
as
you
hard
can't.
fact because
Yeah.
it was Gary Sanchez Studios.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell, Adam McKay directed
Yeah,
it and
he
wrote
did.
it. Like,
Wow.
yeah,
He did not Anchorman. What did he do? He did
Anchorman. He
and
did
the last one.
He
the,
did,
yeah, the Good Guys.
The Good Guys. He did.
Oh yeah, Gary Sanchez isn't a real person. It's
No,
the name of their
yeah.
That's the name of the thing. Yeah.
But
It's a comedy. He's a comedy guy.
Adam McKay also did the Big Split.
He did,
or
The Big Short.
The Big Short.
That
Which
was
was
a
good.
which
good.
has
Yes.
okay.
Good.
Well, that has all the same actors.
Okay.
It has,
Oh.
it has
Pretty much.
Christian Bell.
Wait,
yeah.
so Ryan Gosling was in it too?
No, he's not. Well, it
no.
doesn't have all
My
the same
twin
actors,
star.
but
I'm
it
the
has.
Latino Ryan Gosling.
But it has a lot of the same actors. Like it has Christian Bale because I think Christian Bale was in the
Yes,
Big
he
Short,
is.
right?
Yes.
It has Steve Carell. Like so yeah, it's just a very good movie. It's I think Christian Bale won the Golden Globe.
He did.
For his
I was gonna
performance.
say, how was his performance? He
Yeah,
must have did a
holy
badass
shit, man.
Dick Cheney.
He's convincing as fuck.
and he gained a shit ton of weight for
He
that,
gained
right?
a lot of weight for it. Yeah, it's just all around. It's a great movie. It has a lot of serious undertones, but it's a comedy as well. So
Okay.
it's worth the watch, even if you don't get to watch it in theaters. Like, just watch it because there's just some moments in there. It's it's great. It's great. There's a part in the movie where just in the middle of it, just like credits start rolling, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
damn it.
it's good. It's really good. It's really good.
We should go see
So-
it together, man.
Yeah,
I really want to see it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I want to watch Glass, dude. Yo, I was in Oakland, and
Oaktown, where I
I
was
had
born.
every intention. What was it? Last
do-
night.
To Ghost Ride the Whip? What?
It was it was the night before on Friday night. You know, I was pretty much, I didn't really have a lot to do. I was pretty much done with my day. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch a movie.
Where'd you go see it at?
I was gonna go to Bayfair.
Okay.
Over in Emeryville.
Yeah, I know that spot.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go watch a movie, and I was just looking up movie showtimes and stuff, and the only one that I really piqued my interest because I wasn't gonna be able to catch Glass.
Yeah.
I heard that wasn't that good.
Well, I don't know yet. I'm not gonna
Not gonna knock it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna knock it until I watch it
All right.
because I do want to watch it.
Okay.
But so I wasn't gonna make it in time for that. So I was like, what else can I watch? So I was gonna watch Bumblebee, and I was like, okay, well that's 2 hours from now. It was like 8. I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch Bumblebee, then I'll come back and I'll crash. So I did. I just as I was about to, because I had ordered some food to come to my room, and just before I got the ticket, my Postmates called and was like, your food's here. So I was like, oh, okay, well, fuck it, I'll eat and then I'll go watch this movie.
That gets you? Oh shit!
Once I finished watching the movie,
yeah.
I'm
sorry, Joe.
It's all good.
I just did some incredible shit.
Once I finished eating, I completely forgot. Like I was so full that I just kind of just went to sleep. I just curled up.
Oh.
I was finishing it. I was like, I'm just gonna.
So you've been feeling it lately.
Like
It sounds like you've really reached a point in the work that you're doing where you just needed to reset back down, sort of separate for a second from everything that's been going on.
I think I might need some rest.
Do you really feel you're overworked?
No, I don't feel overworked. I'm just tired, you know?
Okay.
Like, it's not that I'm overworked because I can handle any work that comes my way.
Well, what do you do? What are you actually doing when you take these trips away from? I died.
Well, I'm making sure that the guys know what they're going to be doing. Like,
are you managing a bunch of people? Like, is your brain?
No, it's just the core team. It's just the core team of guys.
Okay.
But like I said, it's not that I'm overworked. I'm not. I'm just tired. You know, maybe it's just a day of recovery for me or something like that. You know.
Well, you did say you're working the whole week or two. Like,
yeah.
Well, that's something to open up. You know, based on the strength of that, it's like I'm guilty of it too, and I want to get your thoughts on it too, Keenan. And there's probably a lot of people, just in particular the American society right now. There are some people who don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah.
But overall, do you guys ever feel guilty when you're not working hard?
Yes. When I play video games, not now because this is work, but I mean like when I'm at home playing, for like 4 or 5 hours, I walk away going, damn, I could have been building something or making contacts with somebody, going on a date or some shit like that. And then here I come on this podcast bitching about I'm single and shit. So yeah, for sure. All the time.
Yeah, man. The feedback loop from hell. Cause then you're like, oh man, I'm not doing work. And then it's like, oh, look at me not doing work and how you feel about how you feel. And
but after that, I do recollect and recall that there are people who tell me, Keenan, you need to take breaks. You need to have fun. You need to go out. Because when I talk to them, I tell them I'm working on this project, doing this project, and they know like, okay, well, if you're working a lot, at some point you do need to take a break. And then so it's kind of a cycle. I play the video game or I'm doing something else for about a few hours, feel bad about it, but then feel good about knowing that I got my brain rest. My brain took a break.
Right.
And not to say that video games rot your brain and it doesn't use it. It's just a different part of the brain is being used.
Yeah.
I have zero qualms. Like
Joe don't give a fuck.
If I get to play, I'm fucking so happy that I get to play. Like if I get to play for a good amount of time, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I've been needing this. Because there'll be times where I'll just get to play for like an hour, or I'll have the intent to play, but then something will come up. So then instead of playing something, I'll just put on a show while I do whatever work I have to do. It's like
all you do is create characters.
I'm legit. I get sucked in. But see, that's playing to me. That's playing to me. Yeah, it's the same as playing because I'm actually creating something. It's playing. Even though I'm not making like any forward progress on anything, it's still.
Didn't mean to do that.
It's still playing to me.
I respect that.
Oh,
I did. There's definitely something like. I read a Carlos Castaneda book. I'm not sure if it was The Active Side of Infinity or what the name of it was, but he's got some serious shit. If you guys ever get a chance to listen to the audiobooks, or they're on YouTube for free, actually. And Carlos Castaneda's this anthropologist who was from Mexico but came to Los Angeles when he was young. So then eventually he went back and started to interview the witch doctors of Mexico, like the Native American witch doctors. And this one guy in particular, Don Miguel. And so Don Miguel introduces Carlos Castaneda to peyote. And through a ceremony, and he tells him that this peyote will show you your spiritual friend, your familiar, and they'll reveal to you the truth of your life.
Oh, that was my special.
And so he goes on this incredible journey and like overcoming self-doubts, etc., over a span of years as he prepares for this ceremony that's supposed to open his energies. And that all of us as humans have it. And the one lecture I could never forget that Don Miguel gave to Carlos Castaneda, as he was like, I don't get it. What's the whole point of this? And he said, what you fail to understand is that a warrior, a true warrior, knows why they are waiting. And most people spend their lives feeling bad for taking breaks or for having to be patient with the universe. But if you know what you're waiting for, then a warrior doesn't mind sitting with his hand on the hilt of his sword, ready to swing when the moment's ready.
Baby. All day.
And so I think that's what makes the difference. I think it's the intention behind and your attitude behind your rest that really determines whether or not it was a worthy rest. If you sit there and you feel bad about what you're doing, it would, like me, I have a bad habit of that, of just sitting back, laying back. It only makes it worse because then you're really not taking the break to get back to work. And that complete separation and removal and that guilt-free and saying, look, for the next 4 hours, I'm not going to think about shit. And being okay with that and just allowing your mind to roam free, there really is something to that. But like, it's the intentional.
Wait, what?
As long as it's, I think the argument is, as long as you're 100% in the moment, thoroughly taking it all in, as opposed to being here, as opposed to being there with your head somewhere, like whether that be with relationships or with career or hopes and dreams, whatever the case is, if you're not here right now when you're taking a break, chances are you're not getting the rest that you think you're getting and you should. And it's hard to be in the moment. And the only counter argument I can offer to that is the book, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Mark Ronson says there's a problem with this whole...
Mark Ronson, the producer?
No, it's some other guy named Mark Ronson. He says it's funny how the minute you go to visualize this and tell yourself all these affirmations and get yourself into this place where you're getting the finer things in life and that you're happier and like you see them all and you're visualizing it, you're kind of almost in a way reaffirming the fact that you don't have that shit. Whereas if you just accept the shitty consequences you have, somehow that's like a positive act, because then from there you can build up. But it's when people are resisting the shitty consequences and trying to manifest some kind of kinder consequences.
Like The Secret?
Yeah, when people apply the principles of The Secret in a way that isn't conducive to their life, where they only reaffirm what they don't have, it's a failing strategy.
Did any of you ever, Joe probably doesn't give a fuck, but have you ever tried to attempt to do that secret stuff, affirmation stuff, build your little vision board for like a month or so? Like, have you made an attempt to try it?
Zero interest.
And I already knew the answer. So,
but I guess that's part of my ESTP that I don't try to plot my shit.
Yeah, there's
I just do.
So. The extroverted, sensing, thinking, perception, personality has the tendencies. Remember, because nothing is ultimatums. Your tendency is to be more in the moment than most people, which is why you're able to just enjoy yourself that way without judging yourself. Because you're like, I mean, what else is cooking? You know what I mean? Like, what else is cooking? Whereas we have the intuition, the N in us, and but you have more advantages where you can think about shit and really not give a fuck. Like if you really wanted to, Keenan, with your ENTP, which is only one letter different than his, you can think about something that'll change your mind real quick and you'll be on and get to go.
I want to say that's happened to me before.
Sick. That was a cutscene.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, it was dope.
Son Goku and
So
Son Gohan.
yeah. So for everybody out there, we're playing the Dragon Ball Z. What's it called? Fighters.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Dragon Ball Fighters Z. And if you get two opposite characters that are within, I guess, some sort of universal storyline, they'll have a cutscene before you fight. Kind of like if you did in the game we just played before. If you're Scorpion and Sub-Zero, they'll have like a cool interaction compared to Sub-Zero and some other character, or Scorpion and some other character. Highly recommend people out there to get Dragon Ball Fighter Z because you can button mash like mad fucking crazy. You don't have to worry about knowing any of the control schemes. There are some things you need to know about movement and placement and all that stuff and what you're doing.
Philly just rocked the shit out of me.
Well, because I can see Philly on the controls, like he's literally rubbing his finger into the control. He's gonna have like a callus on his fucking thumbs. It's crazy.
Oh, shit. Joe's coming back for the second round.
And you do realize that shaking the controller doesn't do effect. Doesn't help out. But apparently both of you shake your controllers up and down.
Well, you know, we're family, so
Eat a dick. You know how about that?
Oh man.
Oh, he got me.
That was nice. But it has really cool animations that go into the game and the fighting style and stuff like that. Soul Calibur's fun too.
Geez.
It's a fun one.
okay, wait, was there a point we were making that then before we started talking about the game we got distracted?
Oh, well, you guys are doing some cool, awesome moves.
No, we really are. This game is beautifully made. The Dragon Ball Fighter Z game is made with the Unreal technology, and so what ends up happening is it's as close. It's like literally watching Dragon Ball Z. As far as the animation is concerned.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I wish they made a fairy tale of this. That would be so cool.
You know what? Is there a fairy tale video game? I think
there is. It's a third-person action adventure game, and it's not that. It doesn't look that appeasing.
Oh shit!
It looks like they just slapped it together to
Piccolo's rocking the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Okay, so sometimes for some reason the game gets pretty intense when we're playing, and we're not able to fucking like really.
Well, that's when the player who doesn't have the controller has to come in and start talking about stuff. But I have nothing on my mind. You were asking me what I was doing this whole week.
Yeah. He's like, I haven't done shit.
Well, no, you got the haircut. You got you.
Oh, that was within the last 48 hours.
And you said you've been trying to eat better?
Yeah. Oh, no. What I did was I found a new strip club to hang out at.
Hell.
Put your titties in the air.
Is that really how you go over there, Keenan?
I know.
Do they know you by last name? Like, hello, Mr. Duncan. Thank you for coming.
Here's
Please
your VIP section
right
over
this
here.
right this way.
Roll
Right
out
this
the
way.
red carpet.
Damn, we were down to the wire.
And it's
on
like
this
king
one.
shit.
Come in with my pimp cane and
So
jacket.
I feel really awkward in strip
about
clubs.
Oh.
The last one I went to, my buddy Paul had a birthday in the Valley, and so we went to this place.
What's it called?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I think we had drove by it, and then you told me that there was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
but you said there was like a bunch of Russians or something.
Oh yeah.
So
50,
what is it?
7557.
right. So the one that's closer to it,
By the
that's
airport.
close. So the one that's closest by it,
Uh-huh.
that's the one I was at. The one that's close to that one. You were like, just up the street, there's another one.
Oh.
Anyways, not
I think
to
it's
put
called Sin or whatever. But I don't know.
So we went out to this. It was his birthday, so I was like, all right, I got some dough on me. I'm gonna buy him a dance.
Mm.
And I can't tell you how many times I was just sitting there, and a girl would walk by and put her like finger across my ear.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's what the interaction.
The problem is that I know they want my money.
Exactly. You don't. Anybody who goes into those things think they're gonna find love or some bullshit like that. No, it's a business.
Nah,
you want to see some tits and ass. They want your money.
So it's like an investment.
That's literally the transaction.
It's not even an investment.
No, it's a commodity. It's a marketplace thing. It's a trade.
It's a vice. Yeah,
it's really
a trade. Really, yeah.
Same thing when you go get weed from a weed store or cocaine off a drug dealer in an alleyway or something like that. You're there for a purpose. You're not there to, talk about politics with your drug dealer. You want some fucking drugs.
So you do not fall in love with the strippers.
Drug dealer.
Well, no. Well, you're not supposed to. However, it turns out that a lot of these girls do date their patrons, which I am still trying to figure out how they do that. But
I mean, maybe you have to have some deep pockets. You know?
deep pocket, yeah, that definitely works. But a lot of them are bums. When you see their boyfriends, it's like, what the fuck? It makes me question why I need to get a haircut and dress nice and shit like that when these dudes are banging these hottest chicks. And I know there might be some mental thing going on.
Maybe they got buku,
or maybe they got something, but it's super weird.
You don't know if they're rich. They might dress like bums. But
oh well, maybe that's a possibility. I don't know. But the idea is you're not supposed to.
Not to say that strippers
can't.
are shallow or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a possibility.
But we know it's a business, so anybody going in there, it's a business. People gotta know it.
He's like, I want to emphasize.
Do not go in there with any other expectations besides a business transaction.
Yeah.
Now I did not fall in love, but I came close. Which is why I don't go there anymore.
And you also came while you were close to them, huh? Okay.
Well, we can't talk about that on the podcast. I think that's illegal. Yeah.
I will say though, attraction really isn't a choice. That's the most fascinating thing about attraction, if you think about it, right? Because let's just say there are people who are married but can still be attracted to someone, so it's clearly not like to somebody else. So it's clearly not a choice. So attraction is a series of factors that come into play to create a chemical response in you at a biological level. It speaks to something primitive about the human element in us. And so it's ironic because we have the 3 layers to the brain, right? We've got the I don't know what the dubula with the the main inner cortex
upper
of
dorsimus,
I don't know that I'm not a neurologist, but I know that in the deeper part of our brain is the lizard brain. Right, and then we have then we have like the other, then we have the other motor skill area, and then right above that we finally have like the critical thinking. And really, every new person we meet, the first thing that we all ask ourselves is, should we kill it? Should we eat it? Should we mate with it?
Right.
And until we answer those questions, the next questions will be, okay, well, is it new? Have I seen something like this before? What's going on? And then after that, levels of abstract thinking can come into play where relationships are truly developed. But the initial response, attraction, and deciding whether or not to mate happens almost immediately. Almost immediately. And so
that's because that's the most carnal, right? That's the most basic desire is like lust.
And so someone could want you really bad, but if they're married or they're involved or whatever the case is going to be, like eventually those will kick in, which is why it's bad to have drinks and be drunk and turn off those parts of your brain and then be surrounded by people who could inspire in you that kind of carnal information, that primitive state. And that's what happens when people drink and like get too faded or whatever the case is going to be. Anything that you ingest that changes your biology can risk you turning off those parts of your brain that allow you to think abstractly and understand the longer term consequences. And all this stemming from the fact that attraction is not a choice. That's why everyone will say, damn, I'm not looking to get married with Kim Kardashian, but if she wanted to stop by and say hello.
I think Joe has been practicing on this game. This is bullshit.
Really I'm just serving him up. I'm serving him up some humble pie, you know.
God damn it. I hate to cut you off, Philly, but this is how pissed off I am. I'm cutting you off mid-speech because Joe's over here just doing this circle round bullshit without even looking at the screen. And he's kicking my ass. What are you talking about?
You want to go into the training room for a second, Keenan? Because I'm tired of this bullshit. And it's the same for women too. That's like when they see a man with rock hard abs.
What?
That's one way of looking at it. Oh shit, Brawley's crazy.
See, that's what I'm
the other thing is like when women see a tall man, he doesn't even have to be attractive.
All right, let's
just
get this.
The fact that
let's
he's
get
tall.
This out of the way, Phil. Let's drop this right now. This tall bullshit theory. It's like you're talking to me like flat Earth right now. That's what it,
no,
like.
Keenan.
He's like, I'm tired of this.
But Keenan, are you owning your height?
My height?
I got
That's
you.
This
different.
motherfucker.
That's different, Keenan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't go around like standing over people like that.
No, but that's not how you own it. Like one of my vocal coaches once told me when they were watching me sing and perform, and they were like, you know what it is?
Are you owning your voice or something?
They said, do you know that you're more than just a head floating in space? And I said, what do you mean?
Like
you have your whole body to communicate information with.
Okay.
And 90% of our communication when it comes to everyday interactions with human beings, whether we are attracted to them or not, is nonverbal. So even though people are listening to this podcast, there are things that they're missing out on between how we're communicating that would be translated into video.
Okay.
That's why movies are so interesting. And why someone like Ryan Gosling can sit there and not say anything for like 30 out of 80 scenes. And we're like, damn, those were the best scenes ever. And he said nothing.
Yeah, that's what Driver's mostly about.
Yeah, the movie Drive.
Or
Drive. Yeah. Where he doesn't say anything.
Yeah, him and
very limited dialogue.
He does smash somebody's head in with his foot.
And the girl,
Christina Hendricks?
Carrie Mulligan.
Yeah, Carrie Mulligan.
They just stare at each other for like 80% of the movie.
And I didn't like it. I thought that I didn't like this.
Keenan was like,
do that for everybody.
Say something already.
I know.
But see, that points
the
something
theater's
out.
like, this is bullshit.
But see, that points something out. Have you ever been in an interaction with someone you're attracted to where you took the time to
be silent?
Give that extra.
Yeah.
Like we
that
talked about before. Have you ever held someone's hand longer than you needed to, intending to communicate something with confidence?
Yes.
Like when you first meet a girl and you happen to think she's attractive, you shake a hand. You go, hey, how are you doing? Nice to meet you.
I've done that.
And you hold the hand a little longer to see where they're at.
I definitely don't hold it and stare at them and then just wait for some interaction to happen.
And that is the difference. It's the checking in.
Yeah.
It's like when you're gonna make a sales call and you after you give your pitch.
Yeah.
And you guys have spoken and they mentioned that they wanted a proposal. Then at the end of it, even if you've already talked to that, you go, so does this sound like something you're actually interested in? It's called the soft close.
You want to let it marinate.
It's a soft close.
But that creeps me out if that happens to me, which it has happened where somebody holds my hand, dude or girl, for longer than I want to. And I go, what's this person's problem?
Right.
And I pull away.
Well, yeah. And
that's why I don't do to other people what I don't
Well, you don't want done to
me.
Agree. And so there's a finesse or a style that needs to be applied.
Yeah.
A sort of charm, if you will, a je ne sais quoi.
Whatever. That's the beginning of fucking Robert Greene's book.
Oh, I've never read it.
Art of
but I do know about the book. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I listen to the audiobook all the time.
But you know what? I will say this. A lot of people like Robert Greene books. And I do. I read 48 Laws of Power when I was like 16.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I mean? Like, I've read Mastery. I've read all those books. Yeah.
So have I.
All good books. But The Art of Seduction.
Yeah.
That book, it was a little campy. Like, it was clearly like in order to control the room and have them fall in love with you. Like,
I know everything, so listen to this.
Exactly. And you look at Robert Greene, it's like, come on.
And so what I'm saying, and my cousin told me, he said, one of my cousins, a younger cousin of ours, he said, you don't understand because you're attractive.
Oh, I remember this when you told me this. Yeah.
He said, you don't know what it's like
to
be me as opposed to you.
Yeah.
He said, and I tried being you and it didn't work for me.
Yeah, because everybody's suggestions and opinions, like I complain to you a lot, like people tell me to wear this and act like this. A lot of people forget that it can happen on a small generic scale, but everybody is, unless you want to combine everybody in the same category.
I don't want your life.
Varsity Blues.
Not one, two
Yo,
people
that
are
teacher
the same.
who turned out to be a stripper though.
Wait, in real life?
No. So in Varsity Blues,
the TV show,
it was the movie. Yeah. They were like, they had like an English class teacher or something, and then one day after a game, they all decided to go to the strip club, and then it turns out she was a dancer there, and then she sees them, and she's sort of like, oh my god, she had a great rack, man. Like,
have you ever
phenomenal rack?
Have you seen a stripper that has?
I just realized what I'm saying on a recorded.
Wait,
line.
have you ever seen what?
I said, have you ever seen a stripper that doesn't have a good rack?
Absolutely, I have.
Well, so that's what I was gonna say. Why is it that the times that I have been to a strip club, which I don't enjoy, the bartenders have always been hotter than the dancers?
Yeah, sometimes
and even they sometimes go up and dance.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, that's happened.
Usually the bartenders stay behind the bar. But you're saying you've been the one where the strippers did not have a good looking chest.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were all like leathery, their skin, and
Like
Yo.
big old sandbags.
I'm sorry, Nashville, but
Nashville.
God damn, your strip clubs suck.
Send them over. You gotta send some Atlanta girls over there.
They had like
Atlanta.
this
Yeah.
fucking 45-year-old dancer.
God.
Oh,
She's a
geez.
private dancer.
Wrinkles
I went
and
with a
everything.
client. And
What?
And the client was
just-
like, "Oh, you got to come to the spot," something like that.
no, I mean, I
Oh.
don't think they had ever
I'll tell
been.
you what.
I don't think they had ever been to a strip club because they're not from Nashville, you know. So
You guys
so
were
we
like, well,
went.
here's the thing to do.
Okay.
No, they wanted to go, so we went, and then it's just like, instant regret. Like first off,
yeah.
you have to take your own alcohol. You take your own
What?
liquor.
That is
I think
weird.
it's just beer that you can take.
Of course, Nashville would have some weird rule like
That's some
that.
weird
So
shit.
there's that, and then
B.I.O.B.
and then like the stage where they have the dancers are like 15 feet away.
What?
Yeah, like, and it has a barrier.
And
Like,
a barrier.
five-
So you need
foot
like
barrier.
binoculars to see them titties?
Yeah, so it's like maybe I'm exaggerating. It's maybe like
Maybe.
10 feet.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
but they're like,
it's-
whoa, boy,
It's
you
still,
better.
it's still a distance where you can't sit in front, put money on the counter, and they come up to you and yeah.
And so it was really
interesting.
empty too? Was it really empty too?
Surprisingly, no, it was,
was
there
a
were a
lot.
lot of people there, but it was like trash
See them.
dancers and
40-year-old titties.
like, yeah.
I mean,
I'm
in
not big
LA,
on,
every chick's an actress.
well,
you
I'm,
know?
not, I'm not big on like the whole lap dance thing,
okay, yeah.
but I know what a lap dance costs. And
Right.
this chick, she like approached me and she's like, "Oh, lap dances are half off right now." I was like, "Oh, really? How
How
much
mu-
are
yeah.
those?" "Oh, $50."
What?
I'm like, "That's half off?" No, I'm lying. It was like $40.
Yeah, still.
Right,
I
but
was
still,
like,
yeah.
that's half off.
Those are Vegas prices.
Yeah, a dance is usually anywhere from like 15 to 20 bucks.
And some places are $10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
if you find a real
ridiculous.
good spot.
But see, the thing is that Nashville only has like
One,
Two-
two. Yeah.
Supply and
two
demand.
strip
guess
clubs.
so,
Yeah.
Fuck all that though.
Damn.
It's really
Ridiculous.
better to just develop the skills necessary to go hunting and get yourself a good woman from somewhere in the
I thought you were
bush.
going to say like a gun. I was like, what? Where's Philly going with this? I'm just going to go shoot something.
No, no. But
Yeah.
like if that's the supply and demand that they want to bring to script, then fuck that.
Well,
Yeah, it's crazy.
yeah, not every strip club that you think is like what you see in movies and television. Obviously, like however they portray.
I've hardly ever been to one of those.
because there's different kinds. There's the bikini bars, which nobody takes off any clothes; they're just dancing. And then there's the topless, where they just take off their top.
Oh, you mean like go-go dancers and shit? Huh?
Go-go dancers don't strip, as far as I know.
Right,
They
but
just keep their
Yeah,
that's
they're
like
pretty.
bikini bar
That's pretty
stuff.
like
They're
scantily
just,
clothed.
yeah,
or
just
whatever.
look at any Instagram model who's on a stage, and that's a bikini bar.
Right.
And then you have your topless, which serves drinks and all that
I
stuff.
don't know if that's accurate. Ian,
Oh,
but-
okay, yeah, there may not be some Instagram.
We're a
All
friend of the
women wear-
IG model community. We are a friend of the IG model community.
We're gonna fuck around and have to be friends of every
I know.
community pretty quick.
I know.
Damn, Keita, you're making us friends with everyone. God,
Anyway,
bite your tongue.
not on this podcast.
Yeah, he's like, fuck
Bite
that.
your tongue.
He's like, oh, I thought this was the end of our business podcast.
But I can say whatever I want.
It's true.
Fucking
You can.
chode.
You really
Uh,
can.
Well, but the last one is the fully nude stuff, which I don't go to at all.
It's because you don't want to see the bush.
Well, it's I don't know. For one, you can't drink at a fully nude place, and two, it's
In LA.
In LA, yeah. And then it's also I just find it very raunchy, which is funny because if you're going to any strip club, they think
Look,
you're just a
I need
dirty
it to be a
pervert.
little classier. I need my strip clubs to have a little class in them.
I'm a classy
They
pervert.
didn't call them
With suit and
Gentlemen's
tie.
Club for nothing.
Which I would love to find out if I can't make one of my own. A real gentleman's club where it's like oak wood everywhere. And
Gator
leather
gonna have
seats.
to. Gator gonna have to. Keaton is a pimp, hard at work.
But it would be great. Like it has like it's either fancy Roaring 20 style or Roman Greek style or something like that. But it's real. Only suit and tie is required. You can't come in with like
With
a
a
t-shirt
bunch of
and
guys
jeans.
in togas.
Well, okay, maybe not that, but more Roaring 20 stuff, like real Great Gatsby
A
stuff.
zoot suit.
I'm
like
Like
sure
a
there
cigar
are.
room and
Yo,
everything.
I'm sure there are. We just don't know about
You
them.
think so? In Los Angeles?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
There
I
there
don't
are
know.
societies in this world
Dude,
that
for
people may
sure,
never
there
know of.
has to be something like that for the
In
elite.
in New York, there's a place
Okay, I
called
don't have enough money for that.
Yeah, we wouldn't know because we're not we're not
up there.
Privy.
Yeah.
We're not in that
In New York, though, there is a place called
tax bracket.
There's a place called Duane Park.
Okay.
That's like Pourvu, except it's not on every hour. It's just all night. It's just a long series of showcases of a jazz band.
Yeah.
Every now and then the singer will sing, the main dude will lead the jazz band, but there's always going to be women coming down and dancing and like and they're all bad little bitties. You can look to Duane Park, NYC.
Duane Park.
Super dope. Yeah. I went there because I was in New York. I had nothing to do. And it was like New Year's. Okay. And I think, or around the time Prince died, around that time. Because they were doing a Prince like memorial, commemoration night. Yeah.
That was like 2 years ago.
Yeah. And I met like a bunch of artists there that night, like people who were making moves in NY. And when I was there, so many people, fuck. Trying to think who it was. Like some old school, like hip hop, R&B singers were there too.
Stevie Wonder.
Not big names like that. Let's move the list down more to like the B and C.
Okay.
Right. But there there were still people there though, right? And when I got there, like one of the people who later went to perform in the Prince thing, at first, because I got there early, was like one of the dancers there too, and I was just like, damn. So I immediately thought of you guys, and I was like, we would kick it here.
Well, we need something like, we need a Parvu or an Edison, that the two clubs here that's like a strip club where you have to dress nice. It's because it gets rid of all the riffraff.
It was fancy. I mean, you were either at the bar or you had to reserve one of the tables. Like there was only like 30 tables max.
Yeah.
Right, little small ones like this, and you could sit and you had to reserve it. And I think it's like $100 for the table for the night. You still have to pay for drinks and shit, but you get to watch the show, and like everyone's a badass singer. Like, you know, when you listen to Michael Bublé's "Feeling Good," the cover of Nina Simone's track, and how like the big band, like that's what it sounds like.
We need something like it. And
while women are floating and spinning,
and doing some crazy
butt
shit.
naked, yeah.
That's what would be great. The thing about strip clubs is not what makes it kind of sketchy. Is at least for me, is not so much the dancers, but it's the people that come there.
The guys,
the way they are and the way they act and the way they look. That's what makes it kind of nasty, and like it makes you feel uncomfortable. That's why if everybody's in suit and tie and, you know, Playboy Mansion type shit, it'll be less gritty, and I think a lot less people would be against it or anti that stuff. There'll be a little bit more support. Not that wives and girlfriends would be like, yeah, go to those places, but it wouldn't be so looked down upon.
Dude,
I think if it was more classy, as Joe was joking about.
You bring it up because they don't do Playboy Mansion parties anymore, huh?
I have no idea.
Because I could have sworn.
Let's start one. Let's do one here.
I could have sworn just before they stopped doing the parties, I ended up getting an invitation through somebody that I know. Like,
oh really?
Like networks were moved, but I didn't have the money for the ticket. I was like, fuck.
And one of the playmates dances at a place that I used to go to. She showed me pictures of her at the Playboy Mansion
and all that.
It was pretty awesome. It was like, oh. I was like, what does this dick taste like?
You did not ask her that, kid. No. We're going to make this the snippet that I'm going to share right there.
God. Maybe I should hold my tongue.
Kid, it was like, and so I met the playmate and I asked her what Hugh Hefner's dick tasted like. I think it tasted like, wait a minute.
It tasted like martini. Dirty martini.
Tastes like a dirty martini.
Oh God. Oh, I actually don't like dirty martini. That's the olive with the olives on it.
Yeah, that's nasty. It's just vodka.
So fucking just vodka nasty, dude.
Whoever likes that is an
sociopath.
I kind of like it. I don't mind them.
You know what I haven't had for a long time is a blackberry bramble.
Oh shit.
What's in a black?
Damn, Philly. Wow.
God damn.
Took you way back. Took you way back.
I haven't had a blackberry bramble in fucking ages.
What's in a blackberry bramble for our audience? And
Bramble.
It's Bramble.
Bramble.
It's blackberry.
Blackberry
gin.
bramble. Blackberry bramble.
Blackberry bramble. I can't say that. No.
We're going down to South Park on the handball all the time.
Wow, that's. Well, I used to get that at the Bounty all the time.
Oh, really? HMS Bounty.
I didn't really. Did I tell you why? I don't really. That place just feels like a big downer. I know you guys had a bunch of fun there,
It's like Charles Bukowski regularly frequents that HMS Bounty.
As soon as I walk
everybody's
in
like
there,
depressed and old and like, well, there's our live.
That's what it feels like. Sorry,
This
HMS
is
Bounty.
the end of the road.
You
Yeah.
know what though? That the building that it's in, the Gaylord,
Yeah,
that building
it's a classic.
was
It's
founded,
history.
by Wilshire Gaylord.
Yeah.
It's like one of the oldest fucking
Buildings in LA.
of
yeah.
all of LA. Fucking Wilshire Gaylord.
Yeah.
That dude, man.
Got streets named after him.
Mm-hmm. But you're saying about the HMS Bounty, the Blackberry Brandle? Did I say that right?
Bramble.
Blackberry Bramble.
I was gonna get into something else. I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I was.
Did you get cut off by me or Philly? Let's backtrack. All right, audience members, call in and let us know what Joe was saying.
Shit, I don't remember what I was gonna say.
So Blackberry Brandle.
Bramble.
Bramble.
God damn it, Keenan.
We should have a T-shirt that says that.
We'll just give it a nickname. We're just gonna give it a nickname. The Black Bull. The bull. We'll just call it the bull. There it is. Pass me the bull.
It's not the one.
It's the deck. We gotta need a cricket sound machine.
I know. We have to get a sound machine. We really do.
Yeah.
We need to get a sound machine. I mean, technically, we have one over there.
Actually, if I get the app, I can plug it into the Zoom here and actually just hit the effects.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool. Well,
Matter of fact,
try that.
Let me just prove the concept.
You're gonna do it right now. You're just gonna use this podcast as a testing bench.
What are your?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Philly just walked away from your viewing pleasure. He has now been X'd out of the show.
What's your Super Bowl prediction?
My Super Bowl prediction? Oh, first of all, who is in the Super Bowl?
Gosh, never mind.
Is it the Rams?
The Patriots and the Rams.
Oh, the Rams.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I guessed one right.
Yeah.
Yay. Fuck the Patriots. No, the Patriots are. Patriots is in there way too much. I think have they caught up to the Cowboys and the 49ers yet? Super Bowl wins? Cowboys and 49ers are 6, right? 6 each, or is it 7 each? It's 6. I think it's 6 each. Ray,
I'm pretty sure.
If you're out there, Ray, you can call in and let me know because I know you know the shit.
Call in a week later.
I know. Keenan, you idiot.
Keenan, you idiot. Give you the stats.
Yeah.
Don't you dare talk about my Cowboys.
This will be the only chance I get to win against Philly. I think about right now.
Are you
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
No.
Fuck.
So who do you, okay.
So no,
obviously you don't know what's going on.
I would say the Rams, unless we're in agreement that the Rams won legitimately. Because I know there was that claim that they got that little falsified hood.
The whole
hit me, by the
pass
way.
Interference. Yes,
Yeah.
I did that. It was an accident. Hold on, hit me. Okay, the whole argument is the pass interference. But I don't know. I think people are just looking for an escape as to
because they wanted
the Saints to win.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would have been fine with either one, but there were also a lot of elements that people forget to take into account. You know.
Okay. Do we have
Action.
the music of technical difficulties for?
Do we get an
He's looking for it.
I'm pushing it, but it's not happening.
Oh. There you go. Now try it.
Do we get an
It's not coming back on. I don't know what I did, but I think I messed it up.
Did you though? That's disgusting, Keenan. Goodness gracious, have some decency.
I go to strip clubs. I'm not a decent man.
Strip clubs.
Hey.
So yeah.
Did you find that awe crowd thing for Joe?
Oh,
we I guess we will have to do a selection of favorites, and whoever knows it knows what controls.
Well, we should get one,
or maybe we should all have one, so we can do our own, maybe, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Well, we'd have to connect all of them. Get it together. No, but I want to. We should get one that you can get your own clips too.
Yeah, because we need. Goddamn.
Yeah.
So.
Damn.
What we could do is just we're all figuring out sorry, audience members. We're figuring out the podcast logistics while you're on here.
This is what you get for listening.
That's all that matters.
But essentially, what we're doing is we can just download a sampler and then make our own samples too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's probably the route we want to take.
I like lightning. I'll do some lightning and thunder.
So as I was saying,
yes. So we were talking about
Brady,
Brown Brady Bramble. Oh, and Tom Brady.
Brown Brady Bramble. That's going to be the name of this podcast.
And Keenan hasn't had anything to drink, just so you guys know.
This
He
is all
hasn't
natural.
smoked any marijuana. He hasn't had anything to drink.
Would you like to partake in some extra curricular green activities?
Oh, shit. What are we talking here? Hey.
You're smoking weed now, Keenan?
I want to switch over because alcohol is really fucking up my liver. I keep going mad crazy.
I'm so glad you're
So it's
saying
like-
that. I'm glad
Yeah.
you're addressing that.
Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
It's really hard, and I'm gonna get into alcoholism now because you
Okay.
just spoke about it.
Okay.
Because it
I
just
still
makes
remember
sense.
Brady
It
and
makes
stuff.
sense.
Well, we can get back to football, but yeah.
Okay, now should we
Alcohol,
finish that
football.
one?
No, which is more important?
Okay, let's finish football real fast.
Okay. So I think the Patriots are going to win, but I think they're going to win. I don't think it's going to be a fair match. I want it to be close, but I feel like the Patriots are going to win by like 5-6 touchdowns.
I hate to say it, but I think the Rams are gonna win.
Oh,
They've had a stellar season,
they did
and it just makes sense.
way
that
better than the
they
Patriots.
would rock it. So I think that we'll know next week. 'Cause
Well,
next
yeah, but
Sunday
don't
we're
get me
recording.
wrong. I do want the Rams to win, but I just have a feeling that it's not going to be a game where I'm going to be like really enjoying like a close battle.
Hey, we got Devin next week.
My boy Devin is
Yeah.
going to be coming through.
Unfortunately, I'll be watching the football game. Okay. So sadly,
Awkward.
Are you saying you're not going to be coming to the
I
show?
won't be coming to the podcast. However,
That's fine. That's
Okay,
the point.
well, hear me out. I don't know if this is possible. I would like to give it a try and attempt to see if the place that I'm going to watch the Super Bowl is a place where we can do our podcast live there. So while because he has like 8 screens showing the game. He'll have one in the big. He has a big ass 80 screen on the living room.
This sounds
and
like
one
someone
outside.
rich.
Well, I won't give out names, but he did agree to possibly come on the podcast a bit later. But the thing is that I think just so I don't miss, because I want to be a part of the podcast so much that I don't want to miss any
You call
moment.
it in. Like,
But if that's okay, if he says the green light, is that okay with you?
I
two?
don't know because we're gonna have a guest. You know, and I
Exactly.
don't want to bring a guest into
Some random dudes. Yeah.
I don't want to bring them into an atmosphere that we're not familiar
Gotcha.
with either. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Damn.
it just I don't think it makes sense.
All right. Well, I guess I'll just call
This
in
is
or
something we could have
something.
discussed afterwards. Like, if you want to bring it
really?
up here, motherfucker. So anyway,
I love you.
you think
Joe.
it's the Pats? I think it's the Rams.
by default? I don't. I want the Rams to win.
Okay. You want-
LA. I want.
Yeah.
This is LA. I want the
I
Rams
have
to win.
I have
There's stadiums next to my old house.
I love Lamp.
I don't I really I'm indifferent. I don't really
Oh,
care. But I think the Rams will win.
Let's hope so. Yay. Or how do we do it?
Awkward.
All right. So
Okay.
we got that. Now alcoholism. Now
What about Philly? Does he want to say who
I
wins?
don't
Rams.
think he cares.
No, he doesn't.
I don't even. He's like the
Wait.
goats.
The goats.
Thank you, ladies
Good choice,
and gentlemen.
good choice.
Thank
Good
you,
answer,
ladies and
good answer.
gentlemen.
Good answer.
I have zero opinion on what's going on. In fact, when I think about sports, I'm really more like, I'm just not really there.
He is having so much
I
fun with this.
know. I wonder if it'll go to an extreme where it's like, okay, Philly, we need to talk about the sound effect machine.
What? Say that to me again.
I've been shot.
That was a weak ass shot.
Where's the one where it cocks the
was.
gun? That's the one you need.
I don't think they have it.
God damn, he just shot him out.
Those are trash.
I need to work on
Those
those.
are trash.
These
But,
are some trash ass sounds.
Okay, so alcoholism
Alcoholism is the thing,
to getting high.
man. You mean the comparison to?
Well,
it?
how do you want to get into the alcohol part?
I think
Because
I don't think there's a specific way to get into it.
Okay.
I think you just get into it.
Okay.
Well,
I said that I didn't want. I feel that I'm messing up my liver, even though I drink a lot of water. I feel like when I do get a good time to drink, I drink heavily around friends. When I'm with only like 2-3 people, I have a beer here, a beer there. When I go to these parties, sometimes at people's houses, I won't get super plastered. But when I do, that's when the whole regret thing we were talking about earlier in the podcast comes in and go, why did I?
The guilt.
Yeah, I drank all that shit. I should, all that blah blah blah. But I still like. I want to.
We have a fridge full of beers here that none of us have touched.
we have, but
Well,
I mean,
he had.
I've had some rum, so I can't say that no one's touched anything. Well, I mean, okay,
I'll touch something.
Hey,
I need to get a
Yeah, you do, or that bass. Boom,
boom.
alcoholism is a real thing, and I think you recognizing that it's affected your liver more than you'd like it to, and you wanting to change that is a good way to not necessarily prevent you from becoming an alcoholic, because we'll face the reality. Like I'm a fucking alcoholic.
You fully admit that?
I fully admit.
Do you think
that
I'm an alcoholic?
I don't know how often you drink or how much you drink,
okay.
but the fact that you're able to drink a lot of it within a short period of time.
Yeah.
Because I've gone to AA classes. I mean, I'm not gonna, I've gotten a DUI. I've repressed that for a long time. But I did go to like AA classes. I did take like drunk driving courses and stuff. So what I learned from that is that you don't have to drink daily to be an alcoholic. You can binge drink.
Yeah,
binge drinking is even worse than consistent drinking. Like you could say, "Oh, I have 2 beers a day," or "I have 1 beer a day." You're still an alcoholic.
Yeah.
So binge drinking is just as bad as having 1 or 2 beers a day, or having 1 drink a day. Like the fact that you consume it does more damage to your liver, because it shocks your liver when you binge, as opposed to just slowly hitting your liver for 1 or 2 beers a night. So now just because you're an alcoholic doesn't mean that your life is in shambles and you're going to ruin your life entirely, because I feel like I'm a functioning alcoholic. Like
he flew a plane once.
He flew a plane once.
It went upside down. He banged a Latin chick.
I think it's important for us to recognize when we have that issue, because without recognizing that, we're gonna make a lot of mistakes. And I can say that I've reduced my alcohol intake substantially. I think so, to the point where I kind of wasn't drinking for a while. And again, I don't think anybody should be ashamed of admitting a degree of alcoholism, because I think our generation is susceptible to it, because we in our age group we party a lot. It's just,
and I would think that'd be younger, right? A younger age group, but we're in our 30s and late 20s, right?
Yeah, but we've grown up in a.
We're all in our 30s now.
We're in that.
You're 30?
I'm 30 in February 6th.
Hey,
we're in that.
All right.
30. We're in that millennial, Zennial, Gen X cusp.
Okay.
To where
pretty much all of society is drinking.
All of society is drinking. Like
Damn.
if you're 21 and over, chances are you're drinking.
Even if you're under.
I think we live in a generation of alcoholics. I think we do.
Okay.
Regardless of how some may feel, or the fact is that like fraternities and sororities and all these things, they promote it. These students, I mean, that's the whole premise. You party every weekend. You think they're not fucking getting drunk?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
You think they're not binge drinking? You think they're not
time.
binge drinking?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So just the fact that you're able to consume that on a weekly basis, even if it is just once a week, you're an alcoholic.
And alcohol is a poison. It's literally classified as a poison.
Yes.
It's a poison to your body.
It's kind of crazy that I'm not the one saying any of this, because I'm usually the one that's like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
Wait,
Even though
you don't drink, though.
I don't, but on occasion I will. But I always have those feelings. I'm always like, I feel like alcohol was the original Instagram filter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, have you seen that? Have you done that? Where there's this picture of a not so an okay.
Is that my beer goggles?
Yeah, decent. But you don't have to have beer goggles to test this out. It was on Facebook. It was so funny. It was a clear picture of someone who looked, I guess,
Fine.
unattractive, generally unattractive. And then it said, just squint your eyes a little bit. And then it turns out the person looks a little bit better when you squint your eyes. And it turns out that's kind of what it's like when you drink beer.
I've seen those.
It's hilarious.
That has a double image in it. So you see one thing, but if you squint, it changes into something.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that's so hilarious. Because that's when you go out, because sometimes that actually happened to me a couple times. I talked to you, maybe I go, oh, this girl was badass. She was so hot. Then we see her like the next day and like, Keenan, what were you thinking?
And then, makeup plays a big role, hygiene, people who take care of themselves and like dress with the clothing that actually is flattering to them. Believe it or not, there is clothing. there are articles of clothing that better suit body types. There's the mesomorphs. Like, depending on your body type, there are clothing types that suit you better.
Oh, really? Is there a website that shows me this?
I'll get some information for you.
Okay.
But
just to backtrack,
right.
when you asked if I think you're an alcoholic, I don't think that's up for me to decide.
Oh.
That's something that you have to figure out.
Because a lot of people make that decision for other people.
Yeah, they do.
You're an alcoholic.
They do.
The first step is acceptance.
Well, they do that to me a lot. They'll see me drink. I'll act out. I'll have like a few beers, whatever. I go a little crazy and go, Keenan, give me your keys. It's like, wait a minute. I haven't even gotten to where I should give you my keys yet.
Right. Again, it's not up for us to decide whether or not. It's up for you to decide. And that's something that they also talk about in these classes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think what most people, when they think of alcoholics, they think of like, hobos or like legit
Charles Bukowski types,
frat boys.
Like, not even that, because
they're not seen as alcoholics, and yet they're probably the biggest.
Yeah,
I mean the ones that chug the beer up their ass.
Yeah, but you don't,
Frank the Tank.
But you don't think of them as alcoholics. You think of them as frat boys. But really,
I would think of them.
Well, yeah, but
majority.
The majority. Like, look at Brock Turner. I'm pretty sure that kid drank like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
He's over there raping drunk ass girls. So yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But they think of them as just frat boys doing what frat boys do.
Interesting.
Except unless you're a politician trying to become like Secretary of Defense or what was that guy? Oh. I remember that whole trial. We already forgot about it.
I know. I can't believe people are forgetting about it. And it was a big old thing. What the fuck?
He was like, he was gonna earn a seat in office.
He's a Supreme Court justice, the new dude.
And then they hit him up.
Yeah.
What's his name?
And they were like, well, in college, this girl said, and he's like,
I was just beefing. Or what was it called?
Yeah, whatever it is. But he was a frat boy.
And he said a Devil's Triangle was a drinking game.
Yeah.
What was his fucking name? I can't believe he can't. Brett Kavanaugh.
Brett Kavanaugh.
That's right.
Kavanaugh, yeah.
He was literally everywhere, the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And now nobody gives a fuck.
We're just having one big thing after another these days.
Yeah.
And to speak on the alcoholism, I want to add to it. It's funny that you say this because for the past couple of days, I've been having a couple of conversations with the girl I'm seeing. And I said, there's something funny just overall, like over the years, what I've noticed is whether it's a holiday or a birthday, whatever you want, like it doesn't matter where. I don't think there's anything wrong with drinking. It's when people put themselves in a position where they make other people responsible for them that it starts to become a problem.
What do you mean?
And what I mean by that is when you go there and you get drunk to the point where your behavior now becomes someone else's responsibility because you can no longer control your behavior.
Gotcha.
Whether that's getting to the point where you start fights with someone else and you drag other people into it.
True. I've seen that happen.
Or you become a complete mess and now they have to clean up your vomit and carry you out and whatever. Like,
shout out to Andrew. He helped me out with that. That happened to me only once.
Those kind of things are what get me to think like people are busy looking for excuses to let go instead of reasons to jump on.
Is that a human thing? That's what humans do? Or are you thinking
in general,
we live in a society of excess consumers. We're all consumers. I've said this. I'm a fucking prime consumer. You want to present something to me, I'm absolutely going to take it. So yes.
Has it always been that way? I mean, were we like that as like cavemen and shit? Like before we discovered booze? Because, Egyptians gave booze to their slaves to keep them going when they barely got,
really?
The essentials. Yeah.
I've heard that one. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the book that explains all this, but it was introduced to me by my uncle because he was like brewing beer in his basement. He was telling me about how the Egyptians.
Old-fashioned bootleg.
He was telling me how the Egyptians would. He presented as a question. He was like, Kenan, guess what? Like they gave their slaves to keep on working and something like that. And he left a pause for me to answer to see if I knew the question. He was like, it was beer. It was beer and bread and beer is what they were given.
Yeah, now, I was just gonna say, I had heard that they kept the meat and like the fish and all the things that were good for the brain.
Yeah.
For the pharaohs and the royalty, and then they gave like potatoes and grains
to the slaves, and
so they would get fat and be able to continue to be laborers.
Yeah. But hey, anybody, this was information given to me, so obviously you can't take what I
mean, I could be wrong. But I've taken I've taken the DUI classes, and they were incredibly insightful. So to me, I mean, you can be an alcoholic and still function, and it's just up to you how far you're going to take your alcoholism. You can. I mean,
it's just crazy to hear you say it because that's big.
Because I never hear you talk about it. This is the first time hearing about your admittance to all that stuff.
Yeah.
Even though I've been around you when we have been.
I mean, we've even dubbed Whiskey Joe a thing.
Exactly.
Yeah,
when you have a nickname like Whiskey Joe,
your alter ego,
you're not a fucking alcoholic. I mean, but again, I don't think it should be something that is demeaning.
No.
Okay.
Because we live in a society of alcoholics. We live in a society of excess. We live in a society where college students are taking Adderall just to function throughout their day. We live in a society, where
we all have our vices.
Where fucking marijuana is legal now. Like it's not a big deal. Like, so I just don't feel like alcoholism should be looked down upon. Especially because so many of us are. It just depends on how far you're going to take your alcoholism, how much you're going to let it consume you. Because yes, it is a disease. It's a big disease, but it's up to you. And this is the same way I feel about depression. It's up to you to be able to address it, to be able to, if you need help, ask for the help. It's
how are you able to come down from where you used to be? Was it all these meetings?
It was forced.
It was forced?
Partially, yeah. And
did I have to do anything with the little ones?
Partially, yeah. I would say so.
A couple of factors, huh?
I mean, yeah, there are many elements. It's just my own willingness. Because some people don't take their kids into consideration.
No, I know some people. I won't name names, but I know some people really close to me that are just heavy drinking. I'm like, you have 2-3 kids. You're about to die before you hit 30. Like, what the hell?
And they don't care.
I think I'm just able to address my responsibilities, what I have to take care of. And I realize, like, you know what? I don't really necessarily have to drink. Like,
the whole functioning alcoholic thing.
Yeah.
There's alcoholics and then there's functioning alcoholics.
Yeah. I definitely think I'm a functioning alcoholic. And then I think that my level of alcoholism maybe isn't as heavy.
You had room to taper it back.
Well, who won our bet?
Huh?
Who won our bet?
What bet?
On my birthday.
I don't think.
What was the bet?
Who can take the most?
I had to go.
You did.
We couldn't measure that.
Well, how about
all right, guys? Whip them out. Whip them out. Come on.
Oh, that's a long one. Whoa!
I released that trunk.
Awesome.
So I mean, those are my 2 cents into alcoholism. And then I mean, again, you don't have to be ashamed of being an alcoholic. Just recognize that you are one.
Own your shit.
Own your shit. And if you have to do something to maybe better your quality of life because you feel it's affecting you, then do that.
Yeah.
Don't let the alcoholism overwhelm you. Don't let it consume you. Like,
does this work for everything?
A lot of people allow it to. Fucking my dad, man.
Yeah.
My dad is dying from cirrhosis of the liver. Like, and he's 63. Like, 63 years
Still
old.
drinking.
And, I don't know if he drinks anymore because I really don't talk to him. But I mean, here's a man who was like, and I hate to just address it, but I feel like I don't think it should be a secret. Like, I'm not. it's just a perfect example of a great man that's, you know, not in the position that he probably ideally wants to be in, you know, and it's to no consideration of anyone else, because this is something that it was done to himself. So as you know, it's a perfect example for me to be like, yo, maybe chill. And I'm saying this while I'm holding some fucking rum in my hand, but at the same time, I'm not, you know, I'm not going to be belligerent by the end of this.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're being a hypocrite at all. If that's where you think you're going,
no,
it doesn't.
It'd be fun. No, it's just some people will think me a hypocrite because here I am, and I don't even think I'm talking down on alcoholism. I'm saying address it, own your shit.
Yeah,
like I'm an alcoholic. I'm having a drink right now, but I'm not gonna let this drink consume me for the rest of the night. Like, this is my drink, and I'm done. And I'm gonna drive home, and I'm be with the family, and be chilling.
Yeah,
like that's and it's perfectly fine. Like, just, you know, if you let it take you deeper, it will take you deeper. Like, you want to look at alcoholism like a fucking building, and you're on that elevator. It's up to you if you're gonna let yourself go up and be successful, or if you're gonna party in the fucking gutters and end up in the gutter. Like, I don't know how much more to explain.
Yeah, if you're using alcohol, if you're using alcohol to medicate, that's the problem.
Yes,
absolutely.
If you're using it to kick back, I mean, people drink wine all the time.
They
like,
do.
You want to talk about the most thing that's consumed is not even beer; it's wine.
For sure. Yeah.
You know.
So you can either take it in. You can either own your alcoholism or let it own you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Pretty much.
And what about the other stuff? You know, like as we were discussing about weed or cocaine or any of those other heroin.
I mean, again, we live in a society of excess, and vices run rampant.
Yeah.
Everybody has their poison.
Yeah.
Whether that's pornography or drugs or alcohol.
Is pornography really a poison? I mean, I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't
think so. At the same time, it can be argued like for young kids, it is, because it's easier. I think Jordan Peterson made the argument first. He says that the reason why pornography doesn't help teenagers who still need to develop skills such as like
for sure
social skills,
then
they get a misconception of what it is and what it takes to go out there and actually find a mate. And so because it's easier for them just to go online and download titties. Like,
yes. Also with the help of like online stuff, anything technological.
And with virtual reality coming so close now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like even the dating apps. I mean, all that stuff.
I just had a revelation last night. Well, for me, it was a revelation.
Kind of with the new VR
porn. No. I was watching Legend of Korra on Kiss Anime, and it's like a website that it's kind of like Funimation, right? It streams anime, right? And it had Nickelodeon cutscenes, like dun 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 dun, right? And then it had a little cutscene where it was showing like, what do you guys think about who your favorite character is and what it is? Go to nickelodeon.com/Korra and tell us on Twitter what you think. And I realized that when we were kids, we were given like toy commercials and things like that.
Yeah.
Then that was like 10 years ago, the Legend of Korra thing or whatever. Yeah. So kids were being told to go to Twitter. Right. So if you think about now, like what marketing messages are being given to younger kids today?
Yeah. So that's that non-social interaction, just digital,
furthering
the
incapacitation of social skills. And if there's one thing I'm a big campaigner on, it's that independence is not the pinnacle of human excellence. Interdependence is. And more often than not, all of us are on a quest and think that the quest is ours and ours alone, which comes back to what I meant with alcoholism and making yourself putting yourself in a position where others have to be responsible for you. I always say it's hard to live up to, but to tell someone, I'll take care of me for you as long as you take care of you for me, is the easiest way to explain interdependence. And each of us has a talent and a role that we should emphasize and lean on. Because it's through that leaning on that talent and that strength that each of us becomes more and more self-aware of our role in life. But it's when we're alone and we don't give that to kids, imagine what's going to happen.
We're somebody else's side quest. Pretty much.
Ooh,
and we're all party members on our main character shit. Each one of us had. Remember what were we watching where we realized it was main character shit? The Tom Hardy.
Main character shit.
It's not Sweeney. No, Squeaky Hollows or no. Tom Hardy. Peaky Blinders. So is it Netflix?
Yeah, that's Netflix.
Is it on Netflix? Yeah.
So Tom Hardy has a show on Netflix called Peaky Blinders, and if you watch it closely, you realize that there's all these characters, but there are clear moments where it's a main character decision that has to be made.
Or was it taboo?
Oh, it was taboo.
Yeah.
It was taboo.
Tom Hardy's he's just a guest on Peaky Blinders.
Okay.
But he had a show on FX called Taboo.
That's what it was.
Oh, okay.
That's why I was like, was it on Netflix?
Yeah.
Taboo. It's
Okay.
worth watching that specifically because of how clear it makes it that sometimes only you can do that part for you.
Yeah.
So this is relating to like.
So all we're talking about main character shit,
So
interdependence.
if our world was an RPG or something like that.
because we were talking about that earlier.
Like,
Oh, that's a good segue.
like,
I wasn't even thinking about that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking how it correlates to alcoholism and how it's your decision.
Oh,
You're
okay.
going to be the only one who's going to be able to make that. But that's a great segue. Earlier we were talking about we're just gonna turn the happiness level on a little bit because
Is there a happy thing on there?
we got a little dark right there. But
Dark
we were
nights.
talking about because obviously we're avid gamers, or some of us more than others. We have an
Whoa.
intermediate. No. I'm saying
Yeah.
we have an intermediate. We have a mediocre, and we have gamers. We're gamers here.
I play
all
every
at different degrees. We're all different degrees of gamers. But earlier, Philly and I before Keenan came
To meet
Across
us for
the
lunch.
street, going back and forth.
we were talking about what when we started, we were talking specifically about what RPG video game
Do you relate to?
what RPG video game character do you relate to? And then
Like those fake Facebook quizzes. What Harry Potter character are you?
Yes, I got Hufflepuff.
and then Keenan showed up, and then we got to asking him, and he was like, "Well, I don't really have a character."
Yeah.
So we broadened it. Like, what character in any medium
Yeah.
do you kind of relate with?
What
or relate
hero's
to?
journey is yours?
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out something for me because I watch a shit ton of movies, TV, and play video games. But I guess I'm
Even as a
I'm
kid,
such a
you never
weird
personified
outside-
yourself with anything, even like Mighty Max or fucking
no.
Beetleborgs.
Because everything you would lay out a statistic or stats of that person, and you lay out mine. A lot of them don't match. There'll be a few that does, and they'll point me to that character like, "Oh, you're the Urkel." But there's so much stuff about that character that I'm not even interrelatable.
Well, let's move into fantasy world though, like animated things. Even as a kid, when you were a kid, before all the
Be
conclusions, Gray of
from Fairy Tale. But I just
Fairy Tale.
like Gray from Fairy Tale.
See, no, but
I
see,
don't
those
see myself as that's my hero
are
path.
important things.
Yeah.
Because often in life, when we become civilized and socialized, we hide parts of ourselves that we really do wish to express, and that's where we run into issues like socially, where because we know we're not being ourselves. I always say, okay, and I don't want to get too far off on a tangent here, but our behavior and our actions are signals and symbols, and the only way we're going to find our tribe is if we're true to ourselves and put out the right symbols. And so when people start to act differently because they want to get the attention or attraction of someone that they wouldn't get if they weren't themselves, you end up years down the line finding yourself with someone that you don't even care about, or around people that you really don't care about. Even though you care about them, you're like, I could really live without them right now.
What are you trying to say, Philly?
So no, what I'm saying is to branch off on that.
Yeah.
It's important to take a deeper look at the things that speak to you like that, because they're speaking to you for a reason. There are qualities that are latent within you, but just need to be developed.
I just find it just pure entertainment. Maybe that's my problem, is I'm looking at it as this is a fun person to watch and follow, but I have no interest in actually correlating that with my real life stuff. So
Am I Natsu?
I mean, hey, but the thing is that, for instance, because the one thing you did pick from, or I thought what I'd be close to would be Indiana Jones, because I like adventure, nature, artifacts, history, all that stuff, but also like building and making things like Iron Man. So if there's a way to combine
Tony Stark,
and Indiana Jones, and Gandalf the Grey,
and Gandalf the Grey,
because I love the wise. I love wise.
Wizard.
Not wizard. Wise, not wise man.
Am I Strider?
maybe, or Nicholas. No.
So you're Dobby then. Okay.
No, I think. I honestly the one the
Yeah, who was yours?
Okay, I'll tell you an anime character that I relate to a lot.
Okay.
Edward Elric.
Edward
from Full
Elric.
Metal.
Full
Oh,
Metal Alchemist?
okay. Really?
Yeah.
He really speaks to you.
He's spoken to me the most.
He's the main character?
He's the main
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
I think that's if
his
I had
brother's
to,
Alphon or something. Right? Yeah,
Alphonse.
okay.
And it's like I always gotta help him.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I gotta save him. I gotta save everybody. I think that's the character I've most related to. If I'm gonna really think, as far as like anime is concerned.
Yeah, because original was anime, wasn't it?
No, original was RPGs.
RPGs.
They're just RPGs in general.
Because RPGs, you have so many characters that are part of your party that have stories and stuff. It's too much.
And you never played one where you were like, wow, because I received the game Final Fantasy VII at a pivotal moment. I think I had just hit puberty even, right?
That's the one with Cloud, right?
Yeah, and like it was given to me as a gift, and I was like, "What's this?" You know, like there was like the odds of me being like some kid from across the street was like, "Oh, we can be friends," and as a show of that, here's a game I just bought for myself, but I'll give it to you since it's your birthday.
Oh, hey,
I was like, "What?"
That's nice.
So Final Fantasy VII was put in my path. You know?
think that was?
I think
universally?
at 14 you were Cloud.
Yeah.
I think at 14 you were Cloud. You
Oh,
didn't really have a place. You didn't really have a place.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so like I adopted this whole other thing that like trying to figure out like, let me just be this because this is what's socially acceptable kind of thing.
And your party members became your family, like in real life.
And I was Barrett.
You were Barrett.
Who was I? I wasn't the girl that died in the beginning, was I? Okay.
Yes. Regrettably, it's true, Keenan. That's who you were.
Nah, you were Tifa.
I'm the
Keenan is
Chickabo.
Kate Sith.
Yes, that's a good one actually.
He's like, fuck you guys.
I don't know who Kate Sith, but but I don't like him.
Oh man.
I don't remember all the characters, but I remember some of them. My brother played that like mad ridiculous. And I just had to sit there and watch. I'm like, fuck. I was into RPGs.
Hey man, I like that shit. I like watching other people play RPGs.
Certain game, fucking Uncharted 4 is a great one to sit and watch somebody else play. That is a full-blown entertainment.
You play Street Fighter, right?
Yes.
Who's
My
your
brother
go-to
plays.
character on Street Fighter?
I can't really think. Oh, my go-to character that I
this
pick?
is my go-to.
Yes. In Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, it's the ninja, and her name is Ibuki. And I love her specials, and I love the way she does her fights. It's just really elegant and like it's just sick.
Okay.
And she has that close where she pulls you in and then does this super explosion.
How about the new one?
She's-
Street Fighter 5.
I would pick her. I pick her in every Street
pick
Fighter
her,
after
Ibuki,
Street
yeah?
Fighter Third Strike.
Oh,
Because she's in all of them after Street Fighter Third
okay.
Strike.
How about 2? How about 2?
Street Fighter 2. Because they're easy to play, I do Ryu or Ken.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try or Blanca.
Blanca, yeah.
Yeah, because he did the electric. and you
Okay,
can
so
cheat
see,
with
no,
that.
but see now I've seen a pattern. Blanca, that girl pulls you close and does the explosion, and when we were playing with Vegeta, when you did the ultimate power where he exploded,
Yeah.
you also saw. So I think you're looking for climax, Keenan.
He's always wanted to finish before everyone else.
No, but the pattern is clear to me. You know,
Okay.
what you're looking to do is unleash something within yourself that no, and it comes back to the same thing. The same thing with the whole the same thing. It's the same
made
thing.
that sound like climax.
Shit.
Oh my god.
I don't think they have a climax sound here.
They have like water squirting or something.
Oh,
Was there any
geez.
like
What's
gush,
this
gusher?
BFG? We have liftoff. We're preparing for duty.
No, that's not it.
No?
That's not it. That's my balls jingling.
Beat that.
Yeah, that's it. All right. If there's a way to elongate it. That's the
So
one.
let me turn it up. Hold on.
That's the one when you nut.
That's Keenan's finisher.
Keenan's like, and now for my ultimate finish.
Jeez.
Gripping the bed sheets with my hands.
Oh my god.
Oh shit!
You're having too much fun with that.
I know. We were talking. Oh, I was gonna make a point on that. We were talking about something. Oh, about the character who I'd be. So the one who. So you were coming to a conclusion,
Which is
based off
basically
of-
there are things in you that you want to develop that you want to unleash.
maybe it's more instead of sexually related. Maybe it's related to my need to invent and build products. I want to make something.
You have things
that's
in
big
you,
and
yeah.
huge that'll release on the world.
You know, you may be able to innovate on dildos. You know, that's the thing.
I thought about certain sexual inventions.
And by the way, I know somebody who's looking to launch a sex toys store.
Well, hear me out. Can I pitch one to you guys?
Absolutely.
So here's an idea that I thought of where
If
it
you
was
don't
like,
mind losing it to someone who listens to this.
oh fuck, no, because it may not be good. It's just a random thought and idea. But the idea is that a lot of those pocket pussies and male vagina strokers and stuff like that, they're all ribbed and they have all this weird shit, but it's all made out of like.
But it's enhanced
Well, it's all
for pleasure.
Oh Jesus! It's all.
I've never used one.
It's all silicone, or it's some ballistic gel made piece of product.
It doesn't look like it would actually even come close to the real thing.
Well, to get close to the real thing, I thought, wouldn't it be inventive to place? Now this is all covered, so it's not actually touching your dick, but it's these contractible springs that have this plate in front of it. So the plates are really, really close. But once you insert your thing into it, they pull back like a muscle would.
Right.
But they're pushing more towards it. So you don't have to like grip or hold, because I think that's where you're supposed to get your pleasure. As
so the action happens on its own.
Yeah. So as you're going in and out, these are pulling and compressing like the muscles of a possible vagina.
Like the vaginal
Don't
walls,
steal
right.
my idea if it's good, but
I would hate to be the beta tester on that. And then it malfunctions.
I know.
You're like, I got it.
What's that sound? That little scream, yeah, that's what Joe would make as soon as it hit. But that's an idea. I mean, I don't know. That's the
Can you
only
imagine like it clamps down?
that's that's the only, because people would. I guess maybe my perversion is out so much that people thought I would invent some sort of sex toy or something like that. I have no interest in making sex toys, but
You have interest
I could.
in having sex.
That almost sounded like he was in denial. I have no interest in making sex toys.
Pause.
But I could if I wanted to. But yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Awesome.
All right.
Louise.
May I switch the subject to something that's relatable to sex?
Absolutely.
So it's relatable to sex. So we're going into some new element. I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I was this would probably also be my soapbox talk, but my frustration on dudes who get either upset or they question and wonder why they got somebody pregnant, as if they didn't know how babies were made. And it's like,
Of course.
why? I can understand why people give reasons why you don't want to wear a condom and all that stuff. Some of them may be valid, but the fact is that if you nut into someone, that's the only potential of making a baby. So if someone gets pregnant, you're going, oh shit,
How did this happen?
I know, like, what? How
Do you
clueless-
not understand
Like,
basic anatomy?
I know. We've been on this planet for how many thousands of years, and you're telling me you're just now figuring out how babies are made?
No, you're right.
So it boggles me. And then when you have one kid, and then you're like, oh, I don't want to have another kid, and then you wind up having another kid, it's like, dude, I have no sympathy or remorse for anybody who gets upset or frustrated that they have kids. It's like, you know how not to have a kid, and you completely ignored it because for some dumb reason in your head. Same thing for both men and women. Both of you, I give no fucks for either of you, female or male, who get upset for having more than one child or one child and acting all clueless and giving justification, oh, it's a religious thing, I'm not supposed to wear condoms, or, oh, I'll just be on birth control and that's the only thing I'll use. It's like, come on. It just gets on my nerve.
As many ways as you can prevent it, if that's really what you want, you're saying.
Yeah, it's like, there's.
So when they're like, oh, I don't know how this happened, you're like, oh, you really don't?
Or when you get those pregnant scares, isn't that a terminology?
Pregnancy scares?
Pregnancy scares? Yeah. It's not a
false
scare.
Alarms.
It's not a scare. It's nothing like that.
Text.
Yeah.
I mean, I think one of my I'm definitely I agree with you. I absolutely hate. I can't say hate. I can't say hate.
You know what really grinds my
I really disagree with people who have multiple children who can't sustain them.
Yes.
Because you're damaging your child.
And how do you? I just can't get in the mindset of for the 5 minutes you're fucking, you completely ignore the possibilities of the future.
Yeah, it's very irresponsible, especially I mean, I know I'm sure there are a ton of people on my IG feed who have children who have who have no business having children. People who have no business having children, like, because I don't know.
My pet peeve is when they complain about it.
Yes,
don't ever complain about your kids as if you didn't know that you created them. That was you.
Don't complain about your struggle.
Yeah,
with your children, with having a family and having a hard time taking care of your family when it's your fault that you have these.
It makes me wonder, like, there's nobody who nuts so much that they lose their brain cells and forget about how that process is made.
I mean, the morning after pill is a real thing.
Yeah, it's just.
But even better, wear a condom.
Yeah, there's no excuse to be like,
don't just pull out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just silly.
Look, don't get me wrong. Getting in there raw and going dirty,
it feels good.
Out of sight, my man.
But as a guy, all guys will nut regardless of what's on their dick.
That's true.
Yeah,
you're gonna complete. It's not like putting on a condom doesn't make you finish.
It's true. Most men have a general average. There is a number of strokes specifically, if done properly, that will auto complete.
Well, we use pillows and blankets and fucking whatever's out there.
Awkward. What?
I
mean, the other day I was coming out of a store. I can't remember what store it was, but this older man, he just like approached me and he's tried to give me this whole spiel about how his grandkids were living out of a hotel and he was out there just trying to get them like money so they could eat. I'm like, that's for real. Yeah. I was like, I mean, the same way that it goes back to the way I feel about homeless people asking me for money is the same way I feel about this situation. Yeah. Don't complain to me about your life and try to ask me to help you out, because I've helped myself out.
Yeah, as if you had no choice in the world. Like nobody, God came out of the sky and said you cannot put on a condom.
And I'm sorry if we're offending anybody here, but
no, fuck you all.
This is the opinion. This is an honest opinion. It might be wrong to have this opinion. That's up for debate. That's subjective, but it's true. Like, you shouldn't be having kids if you can't afford them.
And let's face it, most people can't afford them.
No,
yeah,
and then they go, "Well, I didn't know kids were so expensive." Nobody told you that kids were expensive. Not your own parents. If you have multiple your friends,
kids, yes. Even say you have multiple kids and you're complaining, like,
yeah,
yo,
the first one.
Did you fucking learn from the first one?
Yeah,
like that first one takes a toll on you.
Yeah,
if you're a new parent, that first child is gonna take a toll on you, regardless of anything.
Yeah.
So that first one should be an example. Should be a sign.
Yeah.
That if you're struggling with the first one, don't have a fucking second one and say, we'll figure it out, because then you will be a detriment to society.
Yeah.
And then,
it takes a toll on yourself like too. Yeah. Like if you wouldn't,
a child really is a luxury.
My parents are a perfect example. My mom struggled with 5 kids, She was a perfect example. I mean, I'm glad we turned out the way we turned out, but god damn, like having to travel with 5 kids, having to feed 5 kids, having to clothe 5 kids,
and that's someone who really worked hard,
and she had to work her ass off. I know she lost many years of her life for it.
Yeah,
and she would have been better off having 1 or 2.
I mean,
luckily I'm the second, so I mean, I would have been all right.
And I'm fucking one of 18 from both of my parents, and both of my parents, for reasons beyond their control, and the other for reasons of lack of self-control, were just never around for any of their kids. Yeah. And so now there is a series of 18 people who share the same blood who are out there lost. But you know what I realized the other day, the difference between me and all of my siblings is that I really truly had people who loved me and believed in me, even if I didn't have my parents. People believed in me.
And that's probably partially why the siblings that you do know come to you, because they know that you're a bit more stable, even if it's not financially or whatever, there's more
strength,
stability
in my character,
stability to you than they've ever recognized, and you're their blood, so they see you as like, okay, he's a beacon. If
we share the same blood, potential is I could be that.
Yeah.
If worse comes to worse, I know that he can guide me in the right direction if shit gets fucked up. So I mean, at least they have that. That's the one thing that they can count on.
Family is a tough thing. The family unit has broken down in America.
I want to put a shock collar on all the people who complain about having kids, just so I can zap them. Like, don't complain about your kids or having kids. Just
like
so I can press a
Brawley's
button.
dad had Brawley, just like every time he got out of control, just
just zap. Just like, I don't want to hear about that shit.
You look at countries like, I don't know if China still implements the one child policy.
I think part of the 2-child policy.
Yeah,
maybe you're right. I don't know, but
there are countries out there
policy where you can't have more than that, and I mean, it depends. It could be good. It could be bad. I mean, I know Japan is suffering.
They're not fucking at all. So they have no kids.
Yeah.
So it's just crazy to me, man. It's like how people complain about their struggles with their children, but they put themselves in those situations. Again, it leads back to self-control and
because you both met guys who were like, man, I had, I was doing this girl and all that stuff, and then she was like, oh, I think I'm pregnant, and then we found out she was, and I was like, oh God, I'm so glad I got lucky, thank you God. It's like, no, that was all you.
Right.
It boggles my mind.
There are a lot of like beliefs, religious beliefs, and all kinds of things.
And I'm sure these people are happy having multiple children, but you could have prevented the struggle, and that's a huge.
Yeah, statistically, smarter people have less kids.
It's just
unless they're super wealthy, and then they clearly have like 5 or 6. Some of them with their last name starting with a T who move into high political office, and there are exceptions to every rule, but by and large, it's shown that people who are smart, they're like, the numbers just don't make sense. I don't know if we can afford another. Meanwhile, Ricky Joel is out there, and Bobby Sam, and
Idiocracy exemplifies it perfectly.
The movie Idiocracy.
It shows exactly what, and it's just amazing to me, man. It's just I understand why.
The physical act is fine. It's just the aftermath of that. The for me, it's the mentality. That's my beef with everything. It's just the mental thing that's going on in these people's heads, of the ignorance.
I understand why conservatives have a gripe with
pro-choice
welfare.
Oh, welfare.
I get it. I get why, because they see that the government is paying for these. To sustain these people who have no.
Some people have kids just so they can get more from welfare.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. And
it's true. Some people really do take advantage of the system.
It takes a village.
And their argument is, well, the system fucks us all the time.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
And the saying does go, it takes a village, but when the village has to support you and your whole family, and them and their whole family, and them and their whole family, it's like, come on.
And they're not together. Like, they'll have a baby and then split.
People
Like,
need to
what
start.
the fuck?
People
And
Yeah.
we don't really have villages anymore. We have civil duties, but
So we'll do.
where we
Okay.
pay taxes, but we don't know our neighbors anymore.
we need to start taking accountability.
Yeah, as humans.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But that conversation, geez, well, I haven't hit puberty yet, people. But that conversation yesterday, I was just in my mind. I was like, it was two things that I wanted to bring up. That one and then another one. But we can go on another topic, non-related. If you
Oh, that
want.
was pretty good.
I think we've this shows half the time of what we did earlier. So we are closing in on that 2 hour mark already.
Wait, it's almost 2 hours?
Yeah, because the first one was already like 50 something, and now we're back at 50.
Oh, yeah, it's almost 2. We started.
God damn.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Then let's get on soapbox.
so okay, okay. Well, then I'll use my second conversation.
Soapbox.
My second conversation then of my soapbox, and we won't have to dwell on it. I'll just present it out there. Is I was frustrated when I was being informed by lots of friends in the past about how they would hook up and get back together with their ex on multiple occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, just like being clueless about the baby situation, you're frustrated and angry and telling me about your problems with your ex on the third or fourth time. And it's like, you should have learned. How come you didn't know the first time that this isn't working out? The second time it isn't working out. I mean, 5-6 times down the road, it's like eventually something's got to go in your head. Like, this isn't working out, and you move on to something else. Like the
relationship.
Is it too easy and convenient to just call up your ex and say, hey, let's bang one out real quick, and all of a sudden get this like weird emotional connection? I don't know what it is that people repeatedly, they're habitually going back to their ex. Once or twice, I guess I can understand, but on a frequent, like multiple times, where you have to go, look, you might have a problem or something like that.
Yeah, it's definitely some ego.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want opinions because that's your soapbox talk, but
well,
I don't know if you're trying to start a dialogue on that.
I know, and that's what I was like. I didn't know it was 2 hours already. I was like, fuck.
Again, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't
You
matter.
want me to save it for the next combo?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you want to.
It looks like he was proposing an opinion.
I kind of was, but I was hoping to try and make it as a soapbox thingy. I don't know. Call in and let me know your thoughts.
Leave comments. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
We will. Okay, guys. Just so you know, our Monday shows are actually recorded on Sundays, and we usually record them between 3 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's ever a moment where you guys want to chime in on something or something that you heard the previous episode, feel free to call any of us.
Do we need a new phone, like a general
Technically,
phone?
no. Well, I mean, if you guys have our numbers already,
Yeah, if you have our
we shouldn't give out
numbers,
yeah,
feel free to call us.
we can get a number,
or we
though.
can set something
Something-
up.
yeah,
we can set up.
It's like
we
$10
can-
a month.
We can set up a hotline where you guys can
947. Oh, no, wait.
can call into. Yeah,
Is there a bling
but
on that?
yeah, I mean, we'd love to hear some feedback from you guys at any point.
Tell me
Obviously,
I'm wrong.
this
Okay.
isn't taped live, so if you're gonna call in for something, it's probably something from a previous episode, which we're more than open and hearing. Next week we'll have a guest, so if
Who's
you
our
want to
guest
chime in
next week.
My buddy Devin, I met him through a collabo event that we did
Okay.
at another colleagues of ours named Diego.
Alright.
He had like this
Oh, yeah.
garage event.
Oh, I know Devin. I think I met him.
Yeah. He was at this event, and he wrote to me as in no uncertain terms that he had opinions about things that he'd like to share. And overall, he's like, I mean, what's not to like? You guys sit back, sip a couple of brews, and talk shit.
Oh, it's
I'm all
about us.
it. Just in general, he's just a
Oh.
cool dude, and it seems like he's got a lot to say.
he wants
so-
to be part of the environment.
Yeah, he wants
Part
to.
He's
of
gonna
the-
slide his way in like I did. We have a fourth member
I
on the
think three-
podcast.
I think 3 is just right. Awkward. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Billy, you got a soapbox?
Soapbox talk. You know, I didn't particularly prepare one.
You never prepare.
No,
I
I'm
have
not
like
prepared.
a laundry list of what I want to say.
But if I had to pick one out of my bag of tricks, I would simply say that be okay with step 1. what I mean by that is a lot of people, here I go generalizing. I've noticed a pattern. Whenever someone wants to start something new, it's like they want to be the CEO right away. Or it's like they want to be the master right away. And then I ask them, well, what abilities have you already developed? Let's say they're a great dancer. Let's say they're a great singer. Let's say they're only a great songwriter. Or let's say they're a great coder. Or like everybody has an aptitude, right? And I go, well, you worked hard for that, right? Yeah, you put the time in. And now you want to do this, but because it's not as easy or it's going to take you all those many years again, you're like, you get frustrated and you give up. And that's where interdependence comes in. Don't try to play all the roles. If you're already a great singer, find a great songwriter and move on. Don't try to be things that you're not, because that's the quickest way to hate yourself. People are not okay with step one. They don't have the real humility it takes. If you want to learn something new, be okay with step one and be humble about it. Look on the computer keyboard. Do you even know how to make print screen work? Do you know how to make the pause break key work? Like, people want to go out and become these things. I'm going to be a great entrepreneur. I'm going to become a chef or this or that. But like, what about step one? Do you have the humility to be like, I don't know what that means, and being okay with that? It's not about acceptance so much it is. Don't take it and beat yourself up with it. Take it and hold it and just be okay with that. Life is pretty fucking dismal and things do take time. And if we raise young minds with the idea of, oh, wow, that's really great, and you give them no other feedback other than, wow, you're talented, they grow up afraid of not being talented anymore. But if you give them the kind of feedback, wow, it looks like you put a lot of time into that, whether it's good or not. The fact that you can put time into something, can you be okay with putting your absolute all into something and it's still being shitty, but you're going, but you know what? I put the motherfucking thing on it. I went in on this bitch. If you can do that, nothing will stop you in the world. But it's when you're out there trying to become successful, and only if you're successful, whatever that means, are you going to be okay with yourself? You're going to live a life of self-hate. Believe me, I've been living it. Whatever you do, be okay with the fact that I know I can put in 18 to 20 plus hours of editing just to get something done and be like, fuck it. I used to be like, but look where I am in the world, right? Fair enough. Maybe editing isn't my ikigai, Japanese for iki, which means reason to, and gai mean live, right? Reason to live, my ikigai, something simple, where just the act of doing it is enough. The other day, to finish this up, someone mentioned to me that they wanted to make music, but that they don't know how to produce things. In my past, I produced. But I'll be honest with you, I haven't really done much with it. But the minute they said they wanted to, because my ikigai is to help others, I went in and made something pretty damn good and realized that the very making of the beat wasn't what mattered to me. It was the fact that I could go out of my way to help someone else that made me feel good. And just the very act of doing it was all that mattered. It didn't matter if it ended up becoming anything. And so you've got to find yours. Maybe just going for a jog every day is your ikigai. It doesn't matter if it makes you more successful or wealthier or whatever, but the fact that you can go out there and feel your body alive and sweat and the breathe and all that, like all that makes you feel like you've lived. Because you could be a success in business and a failure at life, and you shouldn't let that be the case. So find your ikigai, be okay with step one, even if step one is as far as you ever go.
All right. God damn. I think this partially
The Martin Luther King.
the goddamn, I'm gonna follow that up. No, but I think this correlates with what you're saying, and it also backtracks into something that we were speaking about earlier about feeling guilty if you do nothing. Don't embrace it. Embrace doing nothing.
Soapbox talks.
This soapbox talks, bitch. Fuck you.
Okay.
Embrace, to me, this is the way I perceive just life in general. Embrace doing nothing. If you have a moment to do nothing, like to play video games and not worry about everything else, embrace that shit. Embrace it wholeheartedly. Do nothing for a fucking whole day. Chill, have a beer, smoke some weed, play some video games, watch some movies, binge watch a show. Embrace the shit out of that. But the same way you're able to embrace that, make sure you can work just as hard when you have to work. When you have to turn the job on, when you have to turn your duties on, turn those and do those the right way, so that when you do embrace the nothing, you can embrace it wholeheartedly without feeling guilty.
Okay.
Because what's the point of not doing anything and just slacking off for a day if you're going to feel guilty about it? That takes away the pleasure of not doing anything, of just being able to chill. And that if you feel guilty for doing that, then you don't deserve that moment. So deserve that moment. Work hard as fuck to make sure that when you have that moment, you're just like, yeah, I did this. What'd you do this weekend? I played fucking video games. I had some drinks. It was great. Didn't have to worry about the kids. They were cool. Like, embrace that shit. Embrace it, but work for it. Work for that nothing. Soapbox.
Awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Be forewarned.
this has been episode 12 of the None of Our Business podcast. We are your hosts, Philly, Keenan, Joe. We will see you next week. Special guest Devin. Keenan's not going to be here, but he might call in. I don't know.
I feel bad. No.
So
I want to be a part of the podcast. So
we'll catch you next week.